Yo. So a while ago, I've seen one of those team building activity videos where people stick marshmallows on spaghettis and they build a tower.
So naturally I thought I should try the same. Even though I tried my best and it was tempting not to eat those marshmallows, it was no match for my mighty fan.
So I thought, screw this, what if I could build a tower that behaved exactly like a skyscraper and blast it with as much wind as I can? So that's exactly what I'm going to do in this video.
So the goal is simple. Build a skyscraper that could reach a meter high and blast it with as much wind as I can to see how it behaves. Ideally, I'd like to see some bending, and hopefully, if we're lucky enough, we can see it snap somewhere.
And if not, I'm going to be very sad.
Each floor is 100 by 100 millimeters, and each floor will be spaced 100 millimeters apart. For those of you who do not understand the metric system, is about 4 inches. You're welcome. This design should give us a 1:10 slenderness ratio,
which is actually the same ratio engineers use to classify a real skyscraper as officially slender. So yes, it's a real engineering term, and yes, I do feel very professional right now.
And for the materials, I decided to go with a mix of balsa wood and paulownia, which are very lightweight, low density, and somewhat flexible. So this should give us the results that we want. It is literally the same material used in wind turbine blades as a structural core.
So naturally, I'm going to destroy it with wind. Alright, let's get down to the build.
Alrighty, let's get into the build. First thing first, I am using these clamps to anchor the whole structure to a thick timber board. And this is not just me being extra. Real skyscrapers have deep foundations. We are talking up to 80 meters down in some cases that anchors the building into bedrock. So when the wind hits, the whole thing doesn't just tip over like a cake tower. So clamping this down gives us the same anchorage effect. Scientifically valid, totally legit. Moving on. Now because balsa wood is so easy to work with, it can be cut to size with a knife. I am using my drill, being very careful to make 5 holes in each floor, 4 at the edges and 1 in the middle. Again, being very careful here. Very careful. Now you might be wondering, what is the middle hole for? Great question, I will get into that later.
Now I could use glue to stick all these floors up, but glue in my opinion it's messy, it doesn't really give that good of a connection, and it takes a lot of time to set. So glue in my opinion it just sucks. Instead I'm going to rely on mechanical connection,
which is the same principle used in steel frames, which are usually pinned or bolted, not glued.
So I'm going to use a roll of 75 meter wire, and I'm going to use that to make my mechanical connection.
For the Americans, yes, that is a lot of wire. For everyone else, yes, that is also a lot of wire. The way this works is that I use a 100mm block as a temporary spacer to set each floor at the right height. And then I wrap the wire above and below each column joint to lock it in place, giving me the same rigid connection you would get with the glue, but without any of the mess, the waiting, or the regret. Another reason why I want to use a mechanical connection is that it gives me the flexibility to make changes later. If I glue this, I can't really make any changes. And if this tower fails somewhere, I can always swap pieces, which would be a headache if I glued them.
Okay, so now I've finished putting all the wires up. Let's give this a test, shall we? I'm going to set my fan at the lowest setting, because if this building breaks right now, it's going to be a very short video. So let's give this a test. And nothing. Well, I am not really surprised. I'm a bit offended on behalf of the fan because buildings in real life don't exist like this.
Wind cannot just pass or breeze through the floors because normally buildings in real life have cladding, glass, walls,
things that wind actually react with.
So the wind doesn't really pass through the building like this. Instead, the wind puts pressure on the building's face. It can also slam into the face of the building, split around the edges, and then meet again on the other side, creating chaotic airflow and swirling pockets of air, which is something engineers actually lose sleep over, called vortex shedding.
Okay, so I know I just dumped a lot of information here, but all you need to know is that we need to add something to this building for the wind to push against. So I'm going to use a clear wrap to see how the wind will react with the building.
For now, I'm only going to put the clear wrap on this face. Eventually, I'm going to wrap the entire building to get a realistic reaction. Just to not have any regrets, I'm going to use some of my barbell plates just to put some weight, because I don't want this to start flying just yet. So let's give this a second test. This is incredible. The building started leaning, which means that we are on the right path.
However, the building is leaning so much that I do need to put some improvement.
Remember the mystery hole in the middle? Buildings in real life have two structural systems working together: an inner tube or a core and an outer tube. The inner tube acts as the structural spine of the building. It gives the whole thing torsional resistance, which is basically resistance to twisting. Think of it like a human spine. Without it,
I broke my back.
you're just a sad pile of organs.
Spinal.
And without a core, a skyscraper is just a very expensive pile of floors. The inner core also houses the stairs, the lift, the HVAC, the plumbing, and pretty much everything for the building to function. I am using a thicker wood rod to simulate it. Now here is the thing. It is the outer tube that does most of the work against wind and lateral loads, because it has far greater structural depth. The inner tube assists and definitely increases the building's overall rigidity. But the outer tube is what's doing the heavy lifting here. So when I test the building,
Send it!
the inner core doesn't actually help much. And here is a comparison with the previous test. You see, not much, because I still have one thing up my sleeve.
And the last upgrade will be bracing.
Diagonal bracing provides lateral stability to the structure, acting as a system that resists shear forces from wind and seismic activity by converting horizontal loads into axial forces along the brace itself. Here I have a simple frame with no diagonal bracing. Watch what happens when I push sideways on this frame. The whole frame deforms and nothing stops it. No resistance at all. It is basically useless. But now, watch what happens when I add a single diagonal brace. Same load, much less movement. The brace is doing its job. When the force pushes this way, the brace is in compression. It is being squished. When the force hits the building the other way, the brace is now in tension. It is being pulled. One brace, two jobs, depending on the direction of the force. And if I add a second brace to make an X, now I've got one in tension and one in compression at all times, no matter which direction the load comes from. Even more stability and structural redundancy. So I wrapped a wire around this brace, and then I wrapped it around the two column joints. And I've done the same in the other corner. It's a little bit messy, however I'm starting to feel some rigidity just on this floor. So imagine what would happen if I put bracing on all floors. Now in real life you would brace all four sides, and that's exactly what I'm going to do, because I'm not going to cut corners on structural integrity. I will cut corners on sleep, diet, but not on this. But for the sake of time and my sanity, and not to make this video longer than it should, I am only going to do a single bracing on each floor, so no X bracing, and I'm going to alternate the direction of the braces as I go up on each floor, mirroring the same layout on the opposite side. Okay, so now everything's finished. I can already feel it's very sturdy.
So now I'm going to wrap this entire building with a clear wrap.
On all four sides, all the way up.
Okay, now that the entire thing is wrapped, I guess there's nothing much for us left to do. So let's test it with my fan. You know why I like this fan? Because it's my biggest fan.
Enough shenanigans! Level 2. Level 3.
Okay, so it didn't fail, which means the structure is behaving exactly as it should. And if wind cannot just destroy this building as is, maybe weights can.
In real life, buildings don't just carry their own weight. That is called dead load, the weight of the structure itself. They also carry live load, everything that is not part of the structure.
Which is you, me, the furniture, the guy in the office who never goes home, all of it. So I'm going to add weight to this structure, and I'm going to add most of it at the top, and hopefully we can start seeing the building struggle. So let's do that.
And there you have it. Even though we didn't see failure, it means things are working just fine. When compared with the first test, adding bracing significantly reduces the building's sway. Unfortunately, I don't have heavier weights or more powerful fan to snap this building. However, I guess I did my best. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon. It really helps me put out more content like this. Leave a comment of what you want to see next, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.